right. So, we got some rad shots yesterday. I was pretty excited with some of the ones I saw. I think it's Liz, maybe from Lillooet. I saw yours posted. They were awesome. Kale from my site posted. Maybe I'll just show a couple first before we get into the Photoshop demo because I thought they were really good. Quad internet. Let's go. Or let's not go. Feel a little bit disturbed by the internet. We're a little bit slow this morning on the internet. Sorry, folks. So yeah, Elizabeth. So I saw Elizabeth. They were super awesome. I love the color difference. I'm not sure how much they're edited, but I think they work really, really well. All of a sudden, my screen is like super weird. So I'm just gonna move you down a bit. It's when I do the screencast. Sorry, it does weird things to my screen. More of Elizabeth. I like this one. It kind of looks like a slinky. It's kind of a cool effect. I kind of dig it. Kale from my class also got some cool sort of abstract ones here too. And of course, he's not here today when I'm showing his awesomeness. And I took a couple too. I think I like this one that I took the best, but I took quite a bunch, but then still have some more to edit. So when you're in Photoshop again, because this is kind of like abstract and you're not really trying to like make it look supernatural, because I think we've gone past natural in this, I wouldn't worry too much about your levels adjustment unless you want to do things like make the shadows darker, just to sort of eliminate it. A lot of us, we had a little bit of flashback light here that we might not want. So when I was editing mine yesterday, I did play in levels, but I just did this end just to bring my shadows down. Now, if you go too far, I'll show you what it looks like. You start to then lose a little more detail, and it really sort of narrows the edges of the lights. But there's another way you can sort of paint in the darkness if you just want it in a specific place. So I'm just going to go edit, step backward, or Control Z just to get that back. So if this is my original, let's say I want to make everything else black except for maybe, is this Kia's feet? Maybe Kia's feet and maybe what she's doing. And I didn't want to just do a wholesale adjustment. There's a couple ways you can do it. So you could go to your brush tool, which is one, and if you click on darken, these are all your options, and we'll look at these a little bit later, because the brush tool, once you start playing with the brush tool, you're like, oh, it's awesome. You can change your size up here, so you could make your brush tool really big, all the way down to like super, super small. I would recommend on your brush tool to use one of these, like the fuzzier ones. Otherwise, you're going to get really hard edges, and it's going to be really hard to sort of blend. But if you look at what happens when I touch this, and if it doesn't work, first thing you got to do is merge your layers and flatten your image. It's probably because I had some changes. Now it should work. So if I just press 1, you can see it looks like that, and that's kind of like artificial. But if I Control Z, oh, why is it not doing this for me? This is how my day is going today. Let's go step backward. I'm going to keep it for now. But I could change my opacity to about even 66. I might make it a bit bigger, and you can always change it. And now I can just sort of paint away what I don't want in there. So let's say I just want to show the really cool painting with light. I can then paint it away, and I get rid of all of that background detail that I don't really need. If you're looking like that's a bit tricky for you and you want to get into these lines, if you press Control plus, that's your zoom tool, and you can always do Control plus, Control minus. Then you might want to just bring your brush size down a little bit and just press a little bit more there. So it kind of gives you that, you can play in between without really wrecking it, or you can get really close. If you wanted to be like super like attention to detail, you could zoom in until you start to see the pixel level, which means it's a little bit like, you can see sort of where it gets square, and you can get much closer and do it with much clarity. With the brush tool is super awesome. The other thing that you can do if you wanted to darken or lighten just a specific, you can see now I've made like this awesome mess out of this, but that's okay. I'll show you the difference if I didn't have the blurred edges. So if I just had this, I'm going to make it a bit bigger just so you can see it. And if my opacity was all the way, it's going to give me like, can you see what I mean when it looks like it's almost a paint tool then? It looks really sort of, it would be very hard to blend that. So you always want to make your brush, any one of these in hardness is good. and then you might want to just adjust your opacity. And you can keep playing with your opacity. Sometimes I start at like a 60 and then I move up when I want it a bit darker. Another way you can do it, and it's the first time we're going to play a little bit in the Nik collection today. Before you do your Nik collection though, you need to go to your layer tool on top and you need to flatten, just in case you haven't done that. Then on the top, I think my screencast isn't capturing it, but it's under the filter tool. You're gonna go filter, Nik collection, and we will look at all of these later because they're awesome. And then you're gonna go to viveza, which is a really simple tool, but it's really powerful. It does quite a lot of stuff. But just in case that you wanted to darken, what viveza allows you to do is you can make a change and then brush it in so you're not committing to the whole photo. So it's gonna show you what the whole photo looks like. So if I go darkness here, all the way down till I want it, maybe I want my contrast up or whatever. If I clicked OK, it's gonna do that to the whole photo. But if I click brush, and then give it a minute, because it's doing a lot, it's a big program. Or a couple minutes. Yeah, there's some cool shots. Good morning. It's a little bit slow. Okay, so now that I'm in viveza, now I can brush in just where I want. The only thing you'll have to do if you're in a brush mode, you have to change this to normal. And that means it can register the other filters. And now you can start to see it's making those changes that I made on viveza and making it a little bit wilder. So I'm gonna, can I use your photo, Kia? Okay, I'm gonna show you another one that Kia did yesterday, which I'm just gonna say now means Ashcroft Secondary School, so she wasn't just like,
that wasn't the intention at the beginning. I just wanted to write something.
You just wanted to write it, and it turned out really rad. So why is my computer going all glitchy on me? Okay, I'm gonna use this one because there's something weird. But this is Kia's, it's awesome. She wrote Ashcroft Secondary. Maybe that's what she wrote. But if you, when you're done, oh, that's why, because I'm still in editing mode. So when you've done your edit from viveza, just brush it out, apply. This is a hot mess, but that's just because I'm using it to play with. Another thing that I did in viveza with almost all of my photos, so if you go back to Nik collection, go back to viveza, I increased the structure a little bit. And structure is when you start getting like really kind of crisp, high definition kind of look. And I'll show you what that looks like here. And if you do this too much, it goes a little wild, but if you increase your structure just a bit, you get way more clarity, and it was a little more dramatic. And I'm not even gonna brush it because I just wanted this to the whole picture. It's doing a lot, so I think our computers struggle a little bit to keep up to Photoshop because it's a pretty labor-intensive program on the machine. Okay, and then you can see the difference. So it gives you, when you increase the structure, it gives you a little more drama, it gives you a little more color. So I thought maybe you'd play there for today. I also don't know if I showed you guys how to crop. So if you're cropping, there's two tools you can use. You can do this one or you can use this one. If you use this one, you just select where you want it to go. And then you just go image up top, crop. And there's another one. Yeah, there's this one here too. And this one you can go, it's kind of the trick of Photoshop is there's like 5,000 ways to do anything. So there's no real like right way to do Photoshop. There's just a way. And then you would click yes over here. So maybe, does that give people enough to play with today? Sort of playing maybe with your brush tool to either darken where it is or to play in the Nik collection under viveza with structure and with brush tool in viveza? Does that give us enough to play with?
That's enough for us. Sure, that sounds good.
Awesome. I'll leave the connection up in case you guys have any questions. The other thing I was going to say, holy, are you guys okay? No. You're like, no. I think after my kids do a bit of editing, I'm going to throw them on the community for a bit to do some commenting. But the other thing people could do is, I just have to find it. Right. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to find the slide and I'm just going to talk about fast shutter speed for 2 seconds. Go there. getting back to our slides from yesterday, and I was just gonna, if people get done, I think they could start playing with fast shutter speed. And slow internet today. You guys are weird. Super weird. Choke you out. I think when we painted with light, we had a lot of opportunity to do slow shutter speed, but if you wanted to capture effects like even people jumping or water splashing or whatever, I think maybe we'll give people time if they get done their editing today to sort of, I don't want to give you like a specific shutter speed assignment because I think that I'd leave it up to a bit of creative interpretation. So if you're playing with shutter speeds, you're going to shoot at about 1/100th or fast, 1/100th or faster. Even try up to 1/600th and you're shooting still in shutter priority in that SV mode. But try to stage some creative shots to capture frozen motion like jumps, water, falling items, splashes, or fans. And maybe we'll take today and tomorrow to sort of wrap up some thoughts on shutter speed, to do some shoots and to give people time to post if that, I guess not tomorrow, I mean today and Monday if that works for Lillooet and for Kumsheen.
Works great for us here at, could use some time to catch up.
Yeah, I think we could too, for sure. Okay, well happy playing, happy shooting, and we'll plan maybe a Connecting Decks Tuesday again. And I'll just leave the connection up in case anybody has any questions.
Awesome, right on, have fun you guys.
You too.
See you Tuesday.
See you, doll. Oh, that looks very. Oh, look, right. I like this edge. This guy's got a little like a basketball. Cool. Oh, I like those. Oh, it's right on the.
Yep. I'm just gonna finish that screencast so that you can look. Now that we've been talking and they don't need to hear us.